If you have a brand new oven that's never been fired, or if your oven has been off for several weeks, you want to follow the slow startup procedure. Your gas installer should have verified that there is gas coming to the oven. They've probably even fired it up to check and make sure. If you go to start this and repeatedly you're having some trouble with it, it's likely that there's no gas coming to the oven. So you go check your gas valve to make sure it's open if you're having any trouble getting this started. So once you've verified that there's gas supply to the oven and that your ventilation is working, you make sure the hood's on, or the fan to the chimney, and then you're basically just going to turn the oven on by pressing the on-off button. So I've just pressed the on-off button to start the oven. It's going to fire up the burners. This hearth set point, if your oven is brand new, this will be factory preset to 100 degrees. There's no reason to adjust it for initial startup. In fact, you want it at 100 degrees. You want a very low temperature for your underfloor burner, because this initial startup is done primarily with the flame that you see in the chamber. When you're turning the burner on, the first thing you're going to see is a glow in the chamber. There it is. That just lit the pilot light. Once the pilot is sensed, then the valve opens and allows gas to come to the entire burner manifold. So for first time startup, or if it's been a while since the oven's been used, and by a while I mean a couple of weeks, you want to start out with the flame down at its lowest level. Just have it down set on 1. That's just to get a little bit of heat going into the ceramic and get it ready to receive heat once we start turning this up. The oven's been running for about an hour with the flame set at 1 and the infrared burner out of the picture. You can bump it up until you see the flames start to come up a little bit. That's usually just above 2. You see a visible increase in the flame level. After about an hour with the flame at 1, you just bump it up. You turn the throttle knob until you see a visible increase in the flame. And that usually happens just above the 2 mark. You're going to leave it here for another couple hours. The flame setting is at 2, and the oven has been on for 3 or 4 hours. You're going to be up to about just over 200, 250 degrees. Now you can actually start really putting a little more heat to this oven. I'm going to go ahead and take it up another entire digit on the scale. So this is going just a little bit above 3. You could really leave the oven like this just for the next 24 hours. You don't really need to take that radiant flame any higher for this initial startup. This setting, just above 3, if left just by itself, will bring this oven up to about 525, 550 degrees over the course of the next 20 hours.